Hi, this is the video on density. I'm going to show you how I want you to set the problems up, what I want you to write on the paper so that you can get full credit, and hopefully this will answer any of the questions you have. So density, as we've talked about, is an intensive physical property, and we can use it to identify substances. It's one of the ways that we can do that. So in the equation, D, or I think in chemistry, in an honors chemistry, we were using the symbol rho, which is a Greek symbol, but it's okay. So densities are usually measured in grams per centimeter cubed or grams per milliliter. Masses, that's what the M stands for, it's going to be measured in grams, and volume is going to be measured in either centimeter cubed or milliliter. And 1 centimeter cubed is equal to a milliliter. And so when you're reading these word problems, you're going to be able to tell which quantity is which by looking at the units. That's one way that you can do this. So in the problem, let's just make up a problem. Let's say aluminum has a density of 2.7 grams per milliliter. What mass of aluminum will occupy 40 milliliters? Okay, so it's a word problem. It's a word problem about density. It's really the only one we have so far, so this shouldn't be too bad. So what we do first is we list the information because we get points for that. And the information is going to be the given numbers. They've told us that the density of aluminum is 2.7 grams per milliliter. So we write that down and we get a point for that. Other information that's given in this problem is that the volume is equal to 40 milliliters. And if I couldn't read that and see that that's what it said because it said it occupies a certain amount of space, and I can remember milliliters is going to go with volume. And so now I'm looking for the mass. I start out with my original equation, and it's solved for density, which is not what I need to be finding now. I'm trying to find the mass. So I do a little bit of algebra, and I rearrange the equation to solve it for the mass. I prefer that you do that first. It's nicer to work with the letters than it is the numbers sometimes as the equations get more complicated. Now I put the numbers in. I have 40 milliliters. I multiply that by the 2.7 gram per milliliter, and this is how I know that I did the algebra correctly. The milliliters will cancel out, leaving me with the unit that mass is supposed to be measured in. And then I do the actual math. I take 40 times 2.7, and I get 108. That's what the calculator says. But I have to go back to my ideas of significant figures that I've also done recently. And so this has 2 significant digits. This one has 2 because of that purposeful decimal. So my answer can only have 2, and although my calculator said 108, I'm going to round this to 110. That leaves it with 2 significant digits, and then I put the grams down here. And that's how you're going to do every problem, because the way that I will grade this is listing the information is worth 2 points. Writing down the original equation is worth a point. Rearranging it is worth a point. Your answer is worth 2 points, 1 for the number, 1 for the significant digits, and then having the correct unit is also worth a point. If all you put is the number, the answer, that's not what this is about. This is showing how you think and how you've arrived at your answer. It's proving that you know what you know. Other ways of getting volume sometimes are going to come from your old geometry classes. So if I tell you that you have a rectangular solid, you need to remember that the volume is going to be the length times the width times the height. So I could give you those dimensions, and then you might have to find it. Another thing that we can do is something called water displacement, where you have a graduated cylinder and it has a certain amount of water in it. You put the object in and the water rises, like you in a bathtub. The difference in those volumes is what you're going to have as the actual volume of the object, and then you can go back and use these equations as needed. So hopefully this will help you in your journey into understanding density.